Welcome to YouTube's favorite comic book channel, Cartoonist Kayfabe. My name is Ed Piscor.
I'm Jim Rugg.
Jimmy, what week is it?
June 13th. Heroes Week, Ed.
Oh my goodness, man. Are you packed up and ready to go?
I'm very close to it. I started early this year. I always say I'm going to, and I actually did this year. Man, I am ready for a great show. We always go to Heroes. It's always my best show of the year. It's my favorite show. And this year is probably the most ready I've ever been, and probably the most, amount of different stuff that I'm bringing.
That's fun.
You know, I organized last year. We've talked about getting a storage space and really kind of organizing my inventory and stuff. So, I'm pulling stuff. I saw you tweet about having, some stuff, one copy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go through these comps and things, and you find them in the bottom of the box, and it's all right, I'm bringing it to Heroes. So, everybody that's coming to Heroes, if you're looking for anything with Jim Rugg on the cover, this is the show to come and find that weird zine or one copy of an old book or whatever it is. I'm bringing everything.
Yeah,
so
totally.
I'm psyched, man. It's a good week.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, where you get your comps and stuff, and when you get your first printing of your first trade of something, you carry it around like a baby. It's like you had this long gestation period for quite a while. Now you have it's born and you have it, and you carry it to bed, you sleep with it, and it gets ratty and everything, man. But at a certain point, it's like I need these books to do what they're supposed to do, and somebody's going to get much more enjoyment out of them than me just collecting, pack ratting my own stuff. And that's the spirit. I went through, dude, I don't know if you even ever saw inside that closet before, man.
No. For those at home, I'm looking at long boxes stacked 3 high, 3 wide.
That's all Hip Hop Family Tree.
Nice.
Yeah. So I went through and I found there was a variant for number 12 with Biggie Smalls on the cover. I got 2 of them. I think there's only 500 in existence, so I'm bringing one of those things. That thing is going on Friday. And I was doing some numbers from the Heroes Con show last year in Baltimore. And I think on the first day of Heroes last year, I got rid of 10 sets of the Hip Hop Family Tree issues. So that's 120 comics. That's a half a long box. So I'm bringing one whole long box of hip hop this time and one whole long box of Red Room. But I found a vein of X-Men comics issues, so I'm going to bring those things as well.
Yeah, it's very cool to dig that stuff out. And something like that, hip hop comic books, there aren't too many places that you're going to see a set of those.
Totally.
Very few retailers probably that can put together a full set of those. So that's a really nice feature. I mean, that's kind of the thing with these shows is what can you bring that you just don't find at a comic book store? And it's those little extras and things that have gone out of print and you find in the bottom of the closet.
Right.
The little things like that slip through the cracks. So you want to make it a unique experience. I've got the art organized this year. Just everything is organized. So come early, find those one-off objects, but also just show up and look through stuff because nobody follows us as closely as nobody knows everything that we've done.
Yeah, it's true.
It's impossible, and same for any artist. So that's the other part is it's almost like my table is going to be the Jim Rugg Museum in some ways.
Right.
In terms of things that no matter how big a fan of mine you are, there'll be some stuff there you've never seen before.
We're going to have that pizza position in the middle, man.
Yes, I'm excited.
So we have 3 tables, and I was in my mind. I'm running on 3 hours sleep, and when I sort of woke up in the middle of the night, I was thinking about our setup, and so it's Cartoonist Kayfabe, drapery on your table, my table, then there's that middle table, and I got these big ass Mondo prints. And if you still have your big ass prints, we could adorn those in that middle spot.
That's a really good idea.
And then put the Cartoonist Kayfabe thing behind that.
Yes, because I've been thinking photo ops for people to come by and get their picture taken in front of the big Cartoonist Kayfabe logo.
That's kind of hard.
So with a couple of Mondo prints or something big to dress that up, that could be fun.
That's super hard, man. Let's talk about some business at hand, some of the stuff that we got going on in the very near future. You're going to have a new comic at Heroes.
I'm so excited, man. Debuting True Crime Funnies at Heroes. You can see wearing my pro wrestling magazine influences on my sleeve with this cover, but it's collecting some short stories and all nonfiction. So I figured, hey, lean into the true crime. People love true crime. And if wrestling isn't true crime, I don't know what is.
Right.
So I've got wrestling stories and I've got more traditional true crime stories in there, and even a cameo from Andy Warhol, Pittsburgh's own Andy Warhol.
I'm looking at him.
Something for everybody. I'm super excited with how this turned out, and who knows, this may be the future of how I serialize my stuff in print for a while, especially if I keep doing these short stories. it's almost easiest to just put them in a book every couple of months when I have a clip and go to town with them. So
last week, man, I finished. This is a complete first episode of my daily strip, man. So I put the bullet points together for the next round of 20. I think every 20 strips, I'm going to play around with the format a little bit. I might ink with something different. It'll have a different kind of color component to it, something like that. Just play around. Just keep the thing interesting, because we have that at our disposal. This ain't in a newspaper where I'm bound by black lines, so I could do whatever I want. The way that first strip reads, I'm pretty well happy with it. And I keep thinking, like, okay, let me get 5 episodes done, 100 strips. And then that'll be a bit of a buffer to factor in kayfabe weeks and things, kayfabe days during the week, so that I can just kind of keep consistent by putting out those strips on a daily basis, man. But I can't wait to show this off to you guys. I'm probably going to start serializing it on the Patreon as soon as the last of the Red Room stuff goes up on Patreon to my guys. And I'm talking about my specific Patreon, not the Cartoonist Kayfabe one, but the Cartoonist Kayfabe one is pinned here. It is final order cutoff very shortly for Red Room Crypto Killers number 3. And the thumbnail of our video shows off the Jim Rugg variant. And Jim, if you would be so kind as to show that off.
This is, I'm so happy with this one, Ed. The penultimate cover for me.
Yes.
Only one to go, so it'll be fun to see what I end up doing, and I'll be curious to see comments of people suggesting the creator-owned title that we should pay off that last issue with. But I wanted to do Hellboy from the very beginning. Whenever we were kind of brainstorming about various books and important books and creators, Hellboy and Mike Mignola is very close to my heart, but also that cover's kind of tough. I've been thinking about this cover for a couple of years to figure out like what I could do with it. And I'm so happy with how this one worked out, because it has the Art Adams inset.
Yeah, it's so
You're
good.
doing a backup, a different strip backup in Red Room 3, which makes it the perfect issue for a Hellboy #1 homage cover. And I couldn't be happier with how this is all played out.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I could pull it off. And I wanted to redo that logo so much. That Kevin Nolan designed Hellboy logo is a thing of beauty. So this was a really, really fun cover to play with.
Yeah, dude, it was so fun to see when you finished it, because not only do you get that Mignola flavor, but you get a little piece of Art Adams in the mixture, and I think you pulled it off so good. But that final order cutoff is Monday, so put in your orders and in pre-orders at your comic shop. Get these covers while they're hot. Jim Mahfood also did a cover.
I saw that one floating around.
One of the things that's great,
nice.
like this particular issue that I'm working on, if you have been keeping up with the weeklies, it's the one that is Tarantino inspired issue, where it's this filmmaker historian guy, and the idea was that he's so into film that he even took his interest to the dark side with these Red Rooms. And there are very famous stories in pop culture about the urban legend of snuff films and Red Room. There's a famous story that there was some kind of fucked up party at Charlie Sheen's place, and Penn Jillette brought one of the Guinea Pig movies, which has a comic connection because that shit was directed by Hideshi Hino.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah, various ones. Like, there's about 6.
Yeah.
And this particular one was, there's a few that are
Makes
Hideshi
you want to do
Hino.
a Hino horror episode.
Sure. So Penn Jillette is like playing that while all these people are getting fucking zonked out of their minds, and Charlie Sheen gets extra paranoid. It calls the cops, and like it calls the FBI, and they come and have to like, dissect the flick and be like, okay, now this is some kayfabe stuff. Famous stories about Cannibal Holocaust, like how some Italian court insisted on like meeting the actors and things to just make sure that no humans were messed up. So like I built all of that mythology into this strip. We get to see your Tarantino. Why don't you hold that up and show everybody your Mignola-esque Tarantino right there. Look at that, so good. But Mahfood put one together too, man. So that was such a joy to see everybody's.
His cover's awesome. It's neat to see everybody that's done variants too.
Oh yeah.
As you get up into the near this end, like the actual list of the people who have contributed variants, it's pretty nice.
Oh,
it's kind of an all-star team of talent.
That'll be a good gallery. What you got there, Jimmy?
My next book from Image Comics will be Street Angel, Princess of Poverty. You can pre-order this one online. It'll be coming out that May 2023 is come and gone. It'll be coming out later this year. We are wrapping that up right now. You can also see the Deadliest Girl Alive Street Angel cover down here in the bottom, also published by Image. And I point that out because these two books together will collect all of my Street Angel comics up to this point. There's no overlap between the two books. You get them both. You'll have the complete set of Street Angel comics up to this point. So check that one out. Pre-order that if you haven't already.
It's so crazy to think, man. You were prepping Street Angel issue 2 for slave labor. It was April 2003 maybe, and at Pittsburgh Comic Con, and that's where I met you. You know, like we were in email correspondence at that time, leading up to that, and that is where I first like talked to you ever. 20 years ago, dude.
Wow.
20 years plus a month or two.
Man, talk about the value of these conventions, right? You know, any of these places where you can actually go out and meet some other people that have this common interest, trade info. You know what I mean? Like that's how you level up. You know. You know,
it's real funny too, man. I don't think I ever told you this part, but before I went, I got to the con a little late because when I was a kid, I didn't go in there. I used to like to be there, like when it opens and fuck off the whole day.
Oh, dude, we might have been waiting in line at some of these shows.
so it was the first time I ever went there late because early in the day there was I went to like the dental school to get a filling because like my dentist here was like, I have this friend he's Canadian. He's a Canadian dentist and he just needs to get certified in America. And it turned out he was in the band, and so you guys could Google it because I'm sure it's like some piece of some factoid or trivia at this point. But he was in that band, like called Men with Hats or something like that. I think it's the safety dance. All right. Guys, like that dude, the singer or something, was like the dentist who like hooked me up. So I got this filling, and had like. Because it's a dental school, they use like old school shit, not like so like I'm puffy and all kinds of shit. And I went to the convention sort of puffy, and I'm like, man, I'm excited to meet Jim Rugg and talk with another Pittsburgh cartoonist. But I just did a couple of laps until the swelling went down, but before I said hi.
I was ready for you to tie that into old wrestling gimmick, Kane's Dr. Yankum.
Isaac Yankum, straight from Three Stooges, man. It was one of those like real like you sort of like I was doing it to be nice for this dude, you know, but there was like so much humiliation built into it because the professors have to check their work, right? So put on this dental dam. They do it textbook, which is not what your dentist does when they do a filling, but it's like the exact procedures that are required like in a textbook. So it's like dental dams and like isolating the tooth. So like now your mouth is open and you just see this like gaping tooth with like a drill in it. And now you got this apparatus on your face. And now you have to walk from this room to where the professors are.
They didn't even bring the oh man.
You have to walk through a hallway.
Brought him through there.
It felt like
wow.
It felt like that like waiting room in Beetlejuice or something where like everybody has some malady, you know, some sort of issue, and we're walking past each other with these open wounds or whatever, and you just feel like a real douchebag. That's hilarious.
It's like a freak show kind of stuff.
Exactly.
You're parading down the hall.
Yeah, and it kind of like Saw or something because there's like metal to it and very fucked up. But everybody needs a Jim Rugg in their life, man, and I'll tell you one of the reasons why. With the Hip Hop Family Tree omnibuses coming out, like I showed you guys this stuff last week, we got this great gold foil cover that's going on that hardcover. It's going to be like 504 pages, 140 pages of new stuff. I'm drawing a bunch of new art in there. And Jim's a cool dude. He's a classy guy. So sold it on when we're showing it off. But when the cameras are off, you're like, dude, you need to get that Hip Hop Family Tree logo on the spine. That needs to be gold foil. You were like, the spine is the new cover. You know, at one point, this book's going to be consigned to the spine out shelf on these comic stores. So you need to get
probably the second print.
Right. You need to get this that gold foiled. And you say that, and it's like, it's a fucking no-brainer. Like, why didn't we do that? So I hit those guys up the second we were done recording. I hit the designer and Eric Reynolds, co-publisher from Fantagraphics up. Hey guys, can we stop the presses and make this gold foil. And I used the same line, man. The spine is the new cover. And they were like, stop the motherfucking presses. Like, of course. Like, they weren't sure if that was going to be possible. It's very weird how this works because this is getting printed in China or something. So, like, final orders are not in. Some guesswork had to be made with the print run. And it has to be made and manufactured because it's couple metric kilos of metric tons of books, street value of $1.5 million coming to the States. So we had to guess that print run. It might go quick.
It's the reason I'm half joking when I say it'll be the second print that goes spine out. But that's the thing, man. A book like this, like, you really do have to let your store know that you want a copy. Because, man, that book is going to be something. It's going to be one of those books that if you don't pre-order it, when you see it in person, you snap it up.
Totally.
But that's what everybody does.
Exactly.
You know, like, I have bought so many books that way where it's like, I see the Wally Wood Artist Edition in person, here's my credit card. I can't help myself. And, man, you see that gold foil being flashed. Like, this is going to be the best-looking book. I was thinking on the way over here, like, I'm so proud of the way Hulk Grand Design, the collection turned out.
Yeah.
I can't wait to put these two books next to each other and just, we need to have a photo shoot. We need to have them, like, walking down the runway. But it's going to be a fantastic looking book, and that is the how you hand sell. So pre-order that thing, man. Reserve your copy because, like Ed says, without doing the print run after the pre-orders, it becomes a finite amount. So they probably won't be around too long.
You're too nice and too classy a guy to say this, so I'll say it. It's ridiculous that Hulk Grand Design wasn't up for a Design Eisner at the very, very, very least, man.
Well, you know, that may or may not be the case, but it's not eligible this year.
Oh, is that true?
You know, because it would have needed to come out last December. Like, when it was originally supposed to ship last September.
Oh, did it come out this year?
It came out in, like, March.
Oh,
so,
let's get that stuff on the ball, dude. That's up for 2024.
Yeah, if it only went by solicitation, it would have been eligible.
Right. Man, it's crazy how, like, time.
Yeah, it sure is.
Just fluctuates with us, man. There's a couple issues of Red Room that are out there right now, man. Like, well, actually, there's one. Issue 2. That's this cover right there. That's going to hit print at any point. And the other big book that I'm going to have this year is we're taking all the X-Men Grand Design, the 3 trades that I put together. Going to put that together in one simple trade paperback. So that gets a couple of the books back into print after about a year lag of being dry on the shelves. I guess the other big thing that we want to promote is Cartoonist Kayfabe Comic Book Christmas in July, Jimmy. This is an initiative that we're putting together to just create some comic readership out there. The idea is that a lot of creators in the Kayfabe audience take your copies from your publisher, dump them into these free little lending libraries around your neighborhood. So many comic fans come through here. I bet you have some doubles. Go drop some of your doubles into those free little lending libraries. We all discovered comics in our own weird ways. We're going to be looking at a Batman comic today on the channel, and that's my sweet spot, you know?
Sweet.
But I was reading Batman way before that even, and I was going through a bunch of my Batmans, and I identified the first Batman comic that I bought that I could read. Because I was buying them before then, but I was just kind of like digging the pictures. But it was the first, like, just this like wave of memory flashed over my head where I remember going to Hills, grabbing this Batman, realizing that I now can read. Because before it was like tougher or something like. But I'm like, I'm reading this thing, and I would have been like almost in first grade, which is like right around that exact time you're supposed to.
I know so many people, longtime comic fans, and that's their story is like, you know, they learn to read by the comics, which is amazing when you think about, especially because comics were maligned for decades as being terrible. And meanwhile, a bunch of little kids kind of learn to read and get comfortable reading through the comics.
Get excited about it. And I do remember thinking that you know, Art Spiegelman, Frank Miller, like their ears would burn at this notion. But I remember thinking like it It's like movies on paper.
Right, sure.
So in the spirit, you had some thought?
What I just love those little lending libraries.
Yeah.
And last year was the first year we did this. We saw thousands of pictures. Tag us, Cartoonist Kayfabe, Comic Book Christmas in July, and share those pictures because those little lending libraries are awesome. And part of the reason I like this idea is it's readers that are coming through there. You know that they're interested in reading. So if you put a compelling comic book there, it's likely to actually find a reader. And, where it goes from there, who knows? But I'm sure that many people will be excited to see a comic book in there. I know last year, didn't you put an Akira Volume 1 out? Like, imagine stumbling on that when you're a little kid. I see these libraries in parks next to baseball fields, stuff like that. Imagine you're leaving the baseball field, seeing if there's something there, and you pick up Akira Volume 1. Like,
Totally.
I mean, that's a life-changing event if it happened to me almost at any age, So... yeah, I just passed one recently at a park. I was running this weekend, and right by the parking lot, there's a little lending library. So, yeah, man, put them out there, and let's get some new readers. Let's show some new readers how great comic books are.
This year, somebody's getting a Dragon Ball 3-volume joint.
That's another killer, man. Again, like you imagine you go there with mom drags you over there, and you find that as a little kid.
That's the other thing, too, man.
That's a fun week.
Because, like, I don't know what your philosophy is with it, but like... When I go out to drop them, I want to do at least 5 rounds, and I do try to curate it for the area, So like there is one at the baseball field. Like I showed that photo off. It was really freaking cool. It's a baseball diamond. The dugouts are shelves and stuff. So that'll probably go there. It's a little league field,
right spot.
It's perfect. In the spirit of Cartoonist Kayfabe Comic Book Christmas in July. There's a Kayfaber out there, Ian Chalgren. The Kayfabe
Ask not what Kayfabe can do for you.
Yes. Ask what you can do for Cartoonist Kayfabe, and he hooked us up with the ROM Ocular Edition. Like, this guy kind of spearheaded a movement on Cartoonist Kayfabe, showing off the possibility of what print-on-demand can do and what we actually have access to that we take for granted. He siphoned off a bunch of ROM Space Knight original artwork offline, comic art fans, heritage auction, whatever, and he put together this beautiful hardcover book as a portfolio piece. You want to show it to Scott Dunbier.
Yeah, he's a graphic designer, wants to design books, and that's how you put your best foot forward, is show them what you can do.
Yeah. We did a video where we were talking Marvel Grand Design, Marvel Grand Design Artist Edition, and we were showing off our pieces of like what it would be in our mind's eye. That's how he reached out. He was like, dude, I've been playing around with book design. I would love to design your book, yada yada. So he sent us some stuff this past week, man.
Yeah, I came in to see a stack of what looked like Christmas gifts.
Yes. So let's just make sure you get the right one. All right, to Jim.
I'll try not to make this too obnoxious on the mic, but
there are two Jims.
Ooh.
And I say that because Tom is not left out. So Tom, next time we see you, man, we got a thing for you. But when I saw Ian Chalgren, the package showed up in the P.O. box, right?
Oh man.
And I opened the other one, and then I will talk about it. You don't gotta open. Like I have a couple open copies over here. When I saw his name on the box, I was like, I'm just gonna have to open this before Jimmy comes. I need to see what mine is, and it yields a good episode. Show that stuff off, and I'll tell the people what this is.
The Uncanny Covers.
Uncanny Covers. There are 5 covers to it. Here are the
These look amazing.
The Eddie P covers, man. And what it is, here, take a look inside one. It is Ian grabbed a bunch of covers, like by building 2 of these artist editions, I can profile Ian now. Look how hard that is.
That's amazing. So that is a spread right there, Ian. Way to go.
Yeah, so don't give up the ghost too much, because this will be an episode. But I can profile Ian at this point, man. And this is a 70s Marvel head. So what he did was, take a look at the table of contents. We got key covers from people like Frank Brunner, Buscema, Michael Golden, George Perez, John Romita, Barry Windsor-Smith, John Byrne,
Marie Severin. Big stack for her. Underrated as a cover artist. She was such the glue guy, on the team.
Oh, yeah.
That could do everything, and it was really like, where are you in need? And the fact that she did so many covers, like she was the in-house person that would put stuff together. I bet if they needed something, we need a cover sketch, because you'd see those too. Every now and then I'll see Marie Severin cover sketches. Like she was really doing some art directing back behind the scenes.
Yeah, so shouts to Ian Chalgren. Thanks for the hookup with the Uncanny Covers bootleg. And this caused a firestorm online, Jimmy. I don't know if you fielded any commentary or DMs and emails from people, but they were very swole. They were very salty. They were like, man, you're going to fuck up comic art fans. Like, they're not going to be putting high-res photos up there anymore. Heritage Auctions ain't going to... You're screwing up this project I'm working on. And hacker mentality information should be free. It's there. It's available. So as long as you could make it happen. It's not like this dude's selling these things.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would go about shutting down something like this, because like nobody's making money on this.
No.
This is us promoting great comic art, promoting Ian as a designer. Like go talk to this guy if you're making a book and you need a designer. These are business cards.
Exactly.
Is what this is. But you know what? Just comparing this one to the first Ocular edition, the printing in this looks more crisp.
Yes.
And this is what happens whenever you make stuff. This is like when people ask me about making comics, especially somebody who's new and maybe hasn't actually made one yet. I'm always like, get to that finish line and make one.
Right.
Because like you'll learn half of what you know from making that first book. And I feel like maybe this is a reflection of what Ian learned the first time around, because dude, this thing looks just sharp and crisp and beautiful.
Yeah, so it's Ian Chalgren on Instagram, at Ian Chalgren on Twitter. We'll leave the rest of his private info to himself. But this will yield an episode, dude.
Absolutely, 100%.
This is key material, because he chose some of the 70s covers that are exactly the ones that I would want to see, because there's a little fuss, there's a little technique on display that in the printed version I always wondered, like, what does that original look like? And he found those source materials. So once we get back from Heroes Con and we set up our record session next week, let's make this an episode.
100%. And one other thing I'll say about the Heritage Auctions and the comic art fans is that this is a showcase for that. If you're watching this and you love comic art, or maybe you're mostly a comics reader and don't realize what's out there, you don't have to buy an artist edition to see amazing original art nowadays, because Heritage and comic art fans do post that stuff. And, you could spend a pretty fun afternoon going through comic art fans and putting in the names of your favorite artists and just staring at original art. Brian Boland has some amazing stuff on comic art fans. But almost any artist that you can think of, you put into that search box and you will just have a great time looking at it. So it's not something that you've got to have in a print edition in order to have a good time with it. Man, load that thing up if you haven't given it a spin already, and check it out. Comic art fans is one of the great comic things of the last 20 years.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, I thought that old logic was all gone, like it's been a good 20 plus years of high-speed internet, of disseminating stuff online, and seeing the benefits with printed works and things like that, like realizing that the internet really is just, it's a showcase. It's been proven. It's demonstrable. The numbers do not lie. The by and large, the comic fans are not looking to read shit on Comixology or any of that kind of stuff, man. Like, paper is king in comics at this point still. So it's just like, chill out, man. Let's enjoy.
I think it all informs itself, because people show up that maybe never even thought about original art, and now you start seeing these beautiful pages, and guess what? Your favorite artist has an artist edition. Maybe now it's time to go track that down. So I think it just grows fans.
Yeah, I think next month comes the Michael Golden, dude.
I can't wait to look at that.
Yeah.
That's going to be a beauty.
Yeah, I got that one pre-ordered, ready to go. So we're at near a half hour. Jimmy, I'm feeling in a reasonably talkative state.
Yeah, we got some good books to look at this week.
It was fun reaching out. So for those who are new to the game, what is going to happen is Jimmy and I are going to break down the studio system here. We're going to move into another part of the studio to do our week's worth of recording. And the King Kayfabers on our Patreon, which is linked in this in the chat next to this live stream. They're going to have access to our entire recording session. We set the camera up kind of on us. We talk with them in between videos. We source them for information when we're both kind of daft of stuff is on the tip of our tongue. The chat room is always there, ready to go. It mitigates the kayfabe effect. There are books that we talk about that just become extremely expensive online after we show them off. In the past couple of weeks, there have been some really great examples of the legitimacy of the kayfabe effect. Steve Rude on his social media was like, we sold so many Nexus Chronicle books, we had no idea why. And then everybody said that, Cartoonist Kayfabe sent you, and they sent video of the stacks, dozens, thousands and thousands of dollars of books sold for them. Most recently, Flesk Publishing, the publishers of that Al Williamson artist edition type monograph.
Beautiful book.
They put up a piece, Kayfabe Effect. This was our biggest seller this past month by and large. Thanks Cartoonist, Kayfabe, yada yada. Man, we recently started getting hit up by publishers now. They want to put us on the mailing list, man. So shit is getting real.
Yeah, I'm gonna need a bigger storage space, Ed.
Yeah, but I'm gonna need a storage space, man. My back room is out of control in this place.
We're gonna have to start a comic shop at some point.
Cartoonist Kayfabe Comic Book Christmas in July, man. That's right.
Yeah, I might need a truck to take my books around to these lending libraries.
I was thinking about like us with Heroes Con with the stuff that we have. It's about as close as can be to requiring like U-Hauls and stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when
Or employees.
That too, man. That's
I'm getting old, man. I need somebody to lug those boxes in and out.
Yeah. Some Teamsters. We need to solicit those Teamsters because they don't want us to use their carts, Jimmy.
That's true.
So we're going to break things down here. Give us 10, 15 minutes. Go make a fresh pot of coffee. Go stretch your bones for a second. And then we're going to start the stream up exclusively to our King Kayfabers. And then we're going to record this week's worth of videos. Not doing it Thursday because we're going to North Carolina on Thursday. Somebody in a chat says, man, shoot an interview with Steve Rude when? Sooner than later.
Yeah, I look forward to talking to him.
Let us get back. In fact, I have a message waiting, man, from Steve's daughter.
Excellent.
Who reached out.
I look forward to. I've been admiring his work forever.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of people asking about how they get this if they're not heroes. Tune in next week. I'll tell you how to get it next week. We'll see what I come back with, if I have to reprint them or whatever, but I'll have some details on there. Believe me, I'm not forgetting the Kayfabers that are at home watching. So look for that next week on our weekly Kayfabe episode.
All right, let's break this down and get to our private stream. Jimmy, giving us marching orders so we could be on our way.
Read more comics.